the more local Soccer New Brunswick changes. So for this year, we don't have a lot of changes. Unlike previous years, we've had substantial changes, but the changes that we have are significant, so we have to pay attention to them. You'll be relieved to know that there's no mention of offside this year. That hasn't been tampered with, so that would be a relief to some. But handball does get a mention as usual, and we'll go over the changes to do with handball. The first change that we're going to talk about has to do with concussion substitutions. So this one is included here, at least for our province, for your cultural education, because this doesn't come up in a lot of our games. Most of our games don't have it. It only applies where you have limited substitutions, and that usually means university games. And for your referees who will be involved in university games, there will be further training as the season approaches. So this is there mainly because it is an important change in the law, and also to make you aware, to prime you, especially if you're going to go ahead and referee games where this comes into play. So this is an addition to the laws of the game. It was under trial in previous years, but it's officially included in the laws of the game. And the idea behind it is that it wanted to have some fairness. If a team has a fixed number of substitutes in a game, and one player goes down because of a concussion, it seems unfair to penalize the team. But at the same time, you don't want the other team, the opposing team, to not be able to equalize somehow for that extra substitute that this team will have. So the idea here is that you have a fixed number of substitutes, what we would call normal substitutes, and then you get an extra sub when a concussion occurs on the field. But this is a special kind of sub because this player is not allowed to ever come back to the game once they leave. And the concussion sub, this is different from how it was done, for example, last year in the ACAA, where you had to do the substitution immediately. Like once the concussion was determined, that's your chance. And that was also the chance for the opposing team to bring in a sub. So this has changed. So if it's determined later that a concussion occurred, you could consider that a concussion substitution. Similarly, the opposing team does not have to do substitution immediately to match that concussion substitute. And this is good because as it was last year, for example, in the ACAA, you had if they wanted to use a concussion sub, they had to do it immediately, and that meant getting a player on the field who's potentially not warmed up, but risking further injury. So all that is out of the way now. The procedure is that the referee or the fourth official is informed that a concussion sub is happening. This is suggested to be done using a substitution form of a different color. So as soon as the fourth official or referee sees a different color, you know this is a concussion sub. And the player who's being substituted out is not supposed to participate any further in the match. And you have to inform the other team that a concussion sub has occurred. And this gives them an additional substitute that they can use from that point onwards. This goes over basically what I've talked about already. So here's an important detail. The referee is not part of the decision-making process for determining in whether a concussion has occurred. Referee is not a doctor. We in our capacity as referees, we're not aspiring to be doctors, nor should we pretend to be. Let that decision be made by the team. But having said that, if you suspect that it's a team trying to abuse this rule, you should note it on the game sheet. So during the game, if it says a concussion, just accept that it's a concussion. The risk is too great to make a mistake. We don't want that liability. So we noted on the game sheet that that we suspect that this was not a legitimate concussion, and state the reasons why you feel so. So that's it for the concussion substitution protocol. And do we have any questions at this point? As I said, we don't want to get into too many rabbit holes with this one because it's likely not to come up for most of our games. But if there are any questions, feel free.
We're still waiting for AUS and ACA to tell us how they want to do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll move on. So another important change this year is that under Law 3, it requires the captain to wear an armband. So whereas this was not explicitly mentioned in the laws of the game in the past, it is there explicitly now. And I'll get into more details about this in a few more slides because it's part of player equipment as well. So the change there is that armbands have to be worn. So in terms of player equipment, there's clarification on this issue of the shin guards. The shin guards, as we've noticed, have been getting smaller, and it often raised questions about their safety. So what the clarification is telling us, it's basically stating what we've been practicing. What most of us have been practicing is that we leave it to the player's responsibility to determine the size and the suitability of the shin guards. I mean, they do have to be made of suitable material. So, for example, cardboard is not acceptable. So there is still some room for us to intervene and ask for correction in equipment. But for things like the size and so on, that's up to the players. It's what the laws of the game is saying right now. Okay, so going back to the captain's armband, this clarification here says that the armband has to be authorized by the relevant competition organizer. Basically, the competition can authorize a specific armband, and where that is not specified, then we resort to a single colored armband that may have the word captain or the letter C or translation. So they're saying here that if the competition has allowed a certain armband, then we must resort to a single color with the letter C or captain written on it. This clarification here has to do with just tweaking the language to make things clear. Whereas in the past, it said goalkeepers may wear tracksuit bottoms under the specification for what the goalie can wear. That could have led to the idea that they should wear tracksuit bottoms, but they now put it under other equipment to show that it's optional. And on top of that, they specify that goalkeepers' caps are allowed and soft and lightweight padded material is permitted for protectors and so on. So this is just clarification and specification. And here we see examples of gloves on a player, which is allowed, and also track pants on a goalkeeper. Any questions so far? No, we're good. Okay.
Oh,
we have a question.
Yeah. I had a question. What's the definition of suitable material according to laws of the game? Stuff you buy.
Yeah, basically stuff that oftentimes there'll be some kind of a seal on it that it's approved. I mean, it doesn't specify exactly what suitable material is, but it'll make sense. Like if it has spikes, that's unsuitable material. If it's clearly unsafe, you can consider that unsuitable material.
I have a question, Mo, about the captain's armband. Do
Yep.
we know what the MBSL has decided as far as what that's going to be? Because you said it would be the competition that would decide, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I
And
haven't heard anything. I don't know if Pratik you have.
you might have stepped away.
Yeah. Mhm.
But just anyways, I'm just putting it out there so that before that season starts, because I know the U13s have already started their stuff, just so that we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks,
So
Mo.
yeah, no worries.
It just can't be modified. Like, it can't be.
Yeah.
They can't take a normal size and cut it square edges.
Okay. So now on to fouls and misconduct. And the main change here has to do with handball. So from previous years, like if there was a handball in a dog show situation, that was automatically a red card. That has now changed. That's been modified because for situations where the handball is non-deliberate. So now handball is treated the same way. An undeliberate handball is treated the same way as a foul, where in a dog show situation, and you're giving a penalty, you reduce it to a yellow card. And if it's a spa situation and it's an undeliberate handball, then you reduce that to no sanction. So here we have to determine whether a handball is deliberate or not, and a lot of it comes to common sense, but there may be a few heuristics here and there that may point you to the right direction. Yeah, so the changing in the wording specifies that specifies the contingency where a handball is not deliberate. So we have a few videos here to show. We'll start with this one.
Can I just ask a quick question, Mo, before you show the videos?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Just remind me on the downgrade on a foul, do you
Mhm.
always downgrade or do you only downgrade if it's attempt to play the ball?
Yeah, so that's the situation where if there's an attempt to play the ball. Sorry, I wasn't specific there, but you're right.
Right. So you go straight red if it's like a complete tactical bullshit foul,
Yeah.
basically, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for that clarification because I wasn't specific enough. Okay, so we're going to look at a video here. Does anyone want to see it again? You can just raise your hand if you do. Okay, I'll play it again. Someone wants to see it again.
That's real time. There's just a little bit of a flag. It can go to the moment of truth.
Okay, so who raise your hand if you think there's no foul there? That'll be pretty extreme. But is there anyone who believes that there's no foul? Okay, so now raise your hand if you believe it's if it's a penalty with no sanction. Okay, PK and yellow card. Yep.
It's option PK and red card.
Okay, so Sam, can you tell us why you believe it's a yellow card?
It could have been an attempt to head the ball
Okay.
based on the position of his hand.
All right. So let's take a look at the video again. Oops. Oh, it's not pausing in the right place. Give me 1 second. I have some technical issues here. Okay, so right there. So when you see this angle, yeah, do you still think they may be trying to play with their head?
The ball moves at a very fast speed, so it could be perceived as intent, either a yellow or a red card.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Kaka, I think you also had I think you had your hand up.
No, I didn't have my hand up. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's a dog, and it's a clear, it's clear, he just clearly played the ball with his hand. It's a dog, it's not even a dog, so it's a
Okay.
straight red.
All right. So does anyone disagree with that? Does anyone think should be a yellow card? So I assume everyone is going with the red card, which is the correct sanction here, because there's a very deliberate attempt. There's a very deliberate attempt to handball. Okay, so we move on to the next video now.
Mo, I've got a question.
Yes.
It's Joe.
Yep.
We're still playing at if that's a deliberate handball and that ball is, 3 feet wide of the goal,
Mhm.
that's no longer a red on that, right? Because what we were always coached on was that we have to be sure that ball is going in the goal.
Yeah.
For that to be
Yeah.
a red.
So
Is
in that
correct?
case, it's not going towards. It's not goal bound. So you treat it as a different foul. Could be a yellow for
Perfect.
unsporting or something like
Exactly,
that.
and that's what I would give, but I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah. Next video. Does anyone want to see it again? Quick raise of hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We'll play it again. Okay. Does anyone believe that the referee should have just played on in this case? Okay. How about, does anyone believe that it's a penalty but no card? Some hands. Okay. How about penalty and a yellow card? Okay. Okay, Nathan, why do you think it's a should be a yellow card there.
Honestly, could not see the video super great, but looked like unintentional handball in the box, but could have been
Okay,
Could have been
so
processing
you
down
think
good.
it might be unintentional?
but the video was quite choppy for me.
Oh, okay. Yep. So given that you think you thought it was an unintentional handball, and you decided to give it a yellow. So does this mean you believe it is a dog so?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go over the video again. Just finding the moment of truth here. Okay.
Put it on pause and then drag.
Mm-hmm. So it's right there. So given the situation that you see, do you still believe it could be a dog so?
I feel like I'm probably wrong because you're re-showing it, but
Yep.
looks like hard shot on net with him the only one in the path.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things we consider when we're looking at dog so?
Distance, direction, other defenders, and did they have a chance to play the ball?
Okay. So in this image here, so if one of those conditions fails, then we have to demote it to SPA, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So in this image here, can you see a case for there being defenders?
At the speed of the shot going to the goal, I don't think another defender can get there from what I saw.
Okay. But there are defenders in the vicinity, which is why this has to be considered a SPA, because it's not an obvious opportunity on net, especially from that distance. So so we have to. And this is a case where it's a SPA situation that's. So we give a penalty, but not a yellow card. We reduce the yellow card to nothing, and then we give the penalty.
Oh, I sorry. I just want to make sure that we're still working with the same terminology too. It's Joe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always talk about a protected goal versus an unprotected goal. Is that what we're talking about here?
Protected by no, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about
Yeah.
players being in defenders being having a chance to defend, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to the goalie being in the net or anything like that. So is anyone still not convinced that this is SPA that we reduced to no sanction?
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with it being SPA, but we've seen other videos where a guy was dribbling just inside half and been told they're dog. So that to me does seem like a very seriously struck ball toward going straight towards the net. But again, the video was choppy for me.
Okay.
So I would think, I don't know, a hard shot from there that seems to be going straight on net. It does seem an obvious goal scoring up. That was my thinking on it. But
Okay. So given this situation, they want us to call this a SPA that we reduced to no sanction in this case. Okay, good. The next video.
You got a bunch of hands up. Other hands are.
Anyone want to see it again? Raise your hand. Yeah.
Whole bunch, yeah.
Oh, not that one. Okay, so does anyone think there's a penalty with no sanction there? So we have Angelo. Okay, Angelo, why do you think there should be no sanction there?
Sorry, my hand was up from the previous one.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. How about PK and yellow card? Here we have some PK and and red card. Okay, so Ian, you believe there should be a red card here?
Yeah, I think it is a Dogso situation. Although he's on the ground, it's not like a falling arm. And he does appear to make a deliberate attempt to go towards the ball with the hand.
Okay.
And as such, intercepts the ball, or at least deflects it.
So let's go to the moment of truth and see if we can figure it out. So this is the motion. Play that again. Oops. So seeing it again, do you still believe it's intentional?
I still think he makes motion towards the ball with his arm. I'm not so sure about the supporting arm as he's falling piece, but
Yeah.
I think he's still making motion towards it.
Okay. So I mean, it looks to me that it's his bracing, and then the arm is trailing as the ball hits him. If I was looking at that, I would say it's not deliberate, because do you see any other option of how he could have maneuvered his arm, given that he was already in that falling action?
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Okay. So given that we determined that it's not deliberate, the next question is it a Dogso? What do you think?
Given it's not deliberate, no, it wouldn't be.
Okay. So it can still be non-deliberate and a Dogso. So the change that's been made is just a clarification that in that situation, we reduce from a red card to a yellow card. So in taking away the discussion of whether it's deliberate or not, in this situation, do you see a Dogso?
No, because if we're the we're no longer even. If you're saying it's if the arm is trailing and it's part
Mhm.
of him going down like that, it wouldn't be given as a penalty either.
Okay, so it is given as a penalty in this case um, because of the even in the past it would have been given as a penalty given that situation. So the only distinction that's being made is considering that the fact that it's deliberate, which wasn't a consideration in the past. This would have been a DOGSO red card in the past because if the player wasn't there, Orange would have had a clear chance on net. And that's how they want us to be thinking about the situation. Are you somewhat convinced?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else have objections? Antoine, are you objecting?
Oh, it's all good, buddy.
All right. All right. Okay, Tyler, is your hand up?
I think you're reaching out to me. To me, he does extend his arm backwards in an unnatural position, which is why I feel it's a DOGSO and a red.
Yeah.
To Ian's point earlier,
Mhm.
to me, if it was in a natural position, he'd be more in a 90-degree angle, and not really extending to make himself bigger.
Okay, so
I'm with Tyler on it.
mhm.
That was my thinking. I did second guess it when you slowed it down more, but I thought his arm would more slide under his body. It really seemed like there was an extra.
Daniel, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to clarify a few things to make it easier for people to fully understand what they mean by deliberate and non-deliberate. And this is coming straight from a national assessor. Is deliberate? FIFA put this in place because they wanted to find a way to downgrade the same way as they were downgrading for any attempts on the ball in the past. So because they want to find a way to, how do we not double penalize a team? So to make a deliberate handball, it has to be completely outrageous, evident, eccentric, whatever you want to come up with a terminology. It has to be clear and obvious that the person turned themselves into a goalkeeper, literally slapped the ball away, dove and put their hand out to stop it. That is what you want to consider a deliberate handball. So unless you're 100% sure that everybody around is seeing this as this is outrageous, the movement that he did, you're going non-deliberate. So go with that frame of mind and think non-deliberate all the time until you see something so outrageous that there is no way. Because compare it to the offside where you're expecting somebody to make a like a little jerk reaction to extend their leg, and you're still calling that a deflection, right? Because they didn't have time to place. It's the same thing for the handball. You got to expect a little reflex reaction, a little bit, or somewhat little movement that's going to happen. Okay, but it's not like the person dove across the field and put their hand out like Suarez that did it in the World Cup where he just went up and slapped it away, or the example he showed earlier. And there's probably going to be another example that are going to show a little bit later on where they basically turned themselves into a goalkeeper. Now, for Ian, to clarify on the why, like the arm extended. Now, if he would have, his arm extending out is basically a continuation of his slide. If he would have just slapped the ball away with a secondary motion, then yes, that becomes deliberate. But the fact that his arm just continues on his slide, and then, okay, remember, you can't judge intention. Okay, did he intend to leave his arm there? Okay, but did he do a secondary action after that? And also the other thing too is you cannot. I think it was Nathan that mentioned you cannot have a DOGSO on a shot on goal because a shot on goal is a scoring opportunity. So you're allowing that. You can have a dog on a shot on goal, but you can't have a dog so when there's a shot on goal. Okay, so if you're looking at defender, distance, direction, and ball control, which are the 4 conditions for a dog so, well, there's defenders right in front of them. So you just eliminated the dog so right there because there's defenders right in front of them. In the second one, the video that Mo just showed, take the person that committed the foul out of the equation. Now he's by himself against the goalie. So it is a dog so, but it's non-deliberate. Okay, so you're downgrading. So it becomes a yellow card. I just wanted to make sure because it was said to me like in a class that I took, and that made it a lot clearer to me what is considered deliberate and non-deliberate.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Dan. That actually does clarify things, even for me. Thanks.
And just, can I ask a follow-up on that?
Yeah.
It is the same, you're making the same call though, right? On denial of an obvious goal? Penalties and reds and downgrading if unintentional?
Making the same call. Yeah, it's just the same kind of reduction to the sanctions as you would for the dog show where there's an attempt to play the ball.
Playing catch up from last year.
Yeah, it's just a refinement of the previous adjustments.
So just to add to what Nathan was, I don't know if this is where Nathan was going. For the one that you said that you thought it was a dog so, because it's a shot on goal and there's a defender there, and on top of that, the goal is protected. So that's basically a spa. And because it's a spa, you're giving a penalty, you're giving no card.
Okay, fair. But say I was that call that I guess I was seeing would have been denial of obvious goal.
Because the denying obvious goal is that there's no defender and the goal is not even protected. That's a dog. Okay, that would be a dog. Here, you're assuming that can you 100% guarantee that guy was going to score on that shot? There's a defender right there, and there's a goalkeeper that's standing in the middle of his net. So you can't say that it's denying an obvious goal because it's not. It's just a shot on goal. So if it's shot on goal and defenders are there and the goal is protected, it becomes a spa. And because you're giving a penalty for a non-deliberate handball, okay, then you have to downgrade to no card at all. Dog so is not even in the equation here.
And then, so the other question I was asking is when you are making the call, denial of an obvious goal, which I understand that does not apply there. It is the same sanctions as dog so, correct? But it's a different call.
Yeah, it's most definitely a red. Yeah, a dog would be a red, yes, depending on the circumstance. You're going to probably see another video where it's a dog, but anyway, you guys will make a decision.
Yeah. So that's the next video we're looking at here. I'm going to play it again because it is a bit complicated. Okay, So does anyone want to volunteer to make that call? Okay, go ahead, Jessica.
Okay, I'm gonna try. So it took me
Sure.
all those times to like really see what was going on, and I see that player was
Oh, I think we've lost you. I think we've lost Jessica. So is it, who's the next one? This one.
You got
I think
Antoine.
Kaka. Kaka, go ahead.
Okay, from the video, what I just saw is that this is a clear dog. However, I think it's non-deliberate. I wouldn't say I think. Let me remove the word I think. It is non-deliberate, and in that case, I would go penalty, yellow card, not a red. It's a dog in this case, but since it's a non-deliberate handball, I would go penalty, yellow card. However, more please, I don't know what's the end of the class. I'll still go back to that material thing. I know I'll ask the question back there, but let me just leave it there. Please give me a chance to ask the question regarding the shin pad stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone disagree with Kaka? Muhammad, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to agree with Kaka. Like,
Okay.
considering the distance and the position of the hand, I would go with penalty kick with a yellow card, but not the red one.
Okay. Does anyone believe there should be a red card here? John, go ahead. John?
I think people aren't necessarily clearing their hands down from previous questions. I think that's
John's was a new
want to remind people
raised
to
hand.
clear.
Yeah. Okay, so we go to the moment of truth here.
Hi.
Yep.
Yeah, given that he's playing net, basically, he made a decision to put his hand to his side. I couldn't unmute my mic there before.
Okay.
I think he's playing goalie there. It
Okay.
would have been a sure goal. He had his hand out to the side. That's a red card, I think.
Okay. And that the referee agrees with you in terms of the red card there. But given what Dan just told us about a handball in this situation having to be extremely clear, like not giving you a chance for any doubt, do you still think that holds? I'll stop at the moment of truth.
You think you'll find him these videos, somewhere from 2019, 2023, even the current laws.
So here we are. So in this situation, given the way the body is balanced, can he fairly be asked to have moved his arm out of the way, or did he really have the chance to move his arm out of the way? What do you think? Does this angle change your mind, John?
Not really.
Okay, so in your case, so you believe it's obvious that he tried to stop the ball with his hand, because that's the case you'd have to make.
It's obvious he's not trying to have his hand out of the way.
Okay, so
To
what
me,
has
it
to be
looks like
obvious?
he's trying to. To me, it looks like he's trying to play net.
Okay. So what has to be obvious in this case? Like he could play net with his body, right? He's allowed to do that.
Yes, but he has his hand out to the side.
Okay, but does he have? You think he has his hand out to the side deliberately to stop the ball? Is his?
I think he's trying to take up as much space as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the way they want us to interpret this is that it's a non-deliberate handball for the specific reason that Dan mentioned, that the handball has to be beyond reasonable doubt. That we can't have a lot of disagreement. People disagree. It should be a situation where there's very few people who disagree. Like the very first video we looked at, where the player clearly was going for the ball with his hand. In this case, you can. The number 30 has a reasonable case if he says that he did not mean to do that. I don't know if I've swayed you at all.
Oh, can you play it just one more time here? Because I think he turns, like, to make it not deliberate, he also turns his body so that it doesn't look, he's not putting his hand out first. He's actually turning his body and moving his hand away.
It's a crappy video.
Yeah, the video is a bit confusing.
Mo,
but yep.
Well, can I just add something here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know who previously spoke before Joe, but everything you described there is why you called it a handball. Like he put his arms in he made himself unnaturally bigger. Okay, it struck his arm. So those all the considerations. Okay, it's a handball. Now, when that ball's coming, does he make an outrageous movement to really extend his arm way out to stop that ball, or jump up and slap away at it? Or did he just make himself unnaturally bigger with the hope that the ball would hit him somewhere? Probably didn't want it to hit his arm, but he made himself unnaturally bigger, so he put himself in that situation. But did you see any outrageous movement by the arm or the hand that is clearly seen by everybody that he wanted to put his arm on that ball? You got to expect a little bit of movement because the guy's moving in the net, okay? But like take in consideration the one that dove across and then basically tried to saw that he wasn't going to hit it with his head and then just put his arm out and punched it next to the net. That is what they want. What they consider deliberate is that he made that outrageous, that evident movement that, okay, there's no other way. And he just went and jammed his arm right there. I don't know if that clarifies it a bit.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan, because like you say, it meets the conditions for a handball, which is, I think, where John was coming from. Like his hand, he was making himself bigger and so on. So there's no debate that this is a handball and there should be a penalty. The question is just whether it's deliberate or non-deliberate. And based on the things you mentioned, it should be considered non-deliberate. So John, I don't know if there's more clarity on that, or did you still want to talk about it?
Not really, but just the situation where it's point blank.
Yeah.
That's, I could go for a yellow card, but I'm also tempted for a red.
Okay. But it's a good discussion. You brought up good points. Okay, so now we'll go to so this just clarifies what we've just been talking about, which is, well, there's a distinction now between a handball that's deliberate and non-deliberate when considering DOGSO and SPA sanctions.
Mo, can you go back to the slide before the videos? I think it's slide 17. Just that, that one. Thank you. I just didn't get a chance to take a picture of it before you moved on.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, and Kaka, you had a question about, was it this one?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
That was Shinpans, right?
Ask question. Yeah, it was Shinpans I was asking about. Okay, the laws of the game says that players are responsible for the size and suitability of their shin guards. So you made mention about that was what I was saying. Suitability. What is the law of the game is there? Because if the players are responsible for it, that means they can wear whatever they want to wear. Because I heard you mention something like the players cannot have what's it called cardboard.
Yeah.
But if the laws of the game here says players are responsible for the size and stability of that, are we also regarded to, are we obliged, or are we assigned to tell them what to wear? That's that's where I get confused.
Yeah, so I guess it is confusing here, where on one hand it says that it must be made of suitable material, and then it mentions suitability of the shin guards. So, yeah, so yeah, exactly. So in this case, the suitability does not apply to the material; it just applies to like where they place it on their shin and so on. So they can determine the size of it and how it goes on, but the material is still something that we can scrutinize, and it's something that we can ask them to adjust. But if it's just you can't just do it because the size is small or the location on their shin.
Sorry, I beg to differ, because if you read the full laws of the game, it said this must be made of suitable material. Yeah. And then when they went down, they talked about suitability. That is, suitability of that material doesn't.
So that's what I'm saying. It says suitability, but in the second case, it doesn't mention suitability of material. It just says suitability, which leaves room for interpretation.
It's still the same thing. It's because the suitability they are talking about there, then they are not talking about where they are wearing it. It's always on the shin. All right. What they're talking about is the material itself. So I think we need clarification on that, because that is, for me, according to this law, it's about the player's responsibility and not the referee's responsibility.
Yeah, and,
so
you're right. Yeah. So over here, basically, the way I read it is that it's the player's responsibility as far as the size goes, and also
suitability. At the top paragraph.
Okay.
It's an in-depth clarification.
Yeah. So like Rob is showing me a definition here: where shin guard materials should be chosen from impact resistance, comfort, and durability. So those are the things to consider when you're considering the suitability of the material. But I get your confusion here, or what you're pointing out is that the language seems to say that it's the player's responsibility to determine the suitability. But what I'm saying is that the suitability doesn't refer to the suitability of the material. So that's just, it does create confusion. So cardboard is still not acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for bringing that up. Any other questions before we go to the last section? We're running a little behind on time, so I'll try to speed up. Yeah.
That was a short.
Okay, so the next big change has to do with the penalty kick. The first thing that is being addressed is where to place the ball. In the past, when you place the ball, so long as some part of the ball occluded the center mark, we considered that a valid placement. But the change now says that the ball has to be overhanging the center of the penalty mark. So it means that a ball that would have been a valid penalty position in the past is no longer a valid position just because it's too far out of the center. I'll show you examples. So based on that definition, is there anyone who thinks this is a bad placement of the ball? Raise your hand if you think this is not acceptable.
I'm sorry, could you play the video again?
Yeah, sure. We don't really need to play the video in this case because it's about positioning the ball for a penalty kick.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, and the change is that the ball must overhang the center of the penalty mark. And I think we're all in agreement that this one's okay because the ball is overhanging the middle of the penalty mark. So there is no issue here. So how about this one? Does anyone think this is okay? Okay, Jessica, you think displacement? Oh, okay. Hands
No,
going
I
down.
don't. I was gonna say no.
All right. Yeah.
Most of the grass fields, there's holes there.
Yeah. So it's pretty. This law change is pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any controversy there. Just be aware of it when we administer penalties. Okay, the next one is about impact when the penalty is being taken. So when you have encroachment, in the past we would consider encroachment without impact, or at least that was not formalized in the laws of the game in terms of considering impact. But now it has been formalized. So if there's encroachment, there's basically what it says is that if there's encroachment that does not affect play, you can just ignore it. That's essentially what this law comes down to. So if, for example, the teammate of a player who's taking the kick encroaches and has an impact on the and a goal is scored. But then the person encroaching did have an impact on the goal. Then the goal is not allowed. But if there's no impact at all, then we allow the goal. Similarly, for defenders, if they encroach and the encroachment doesn't affect the saving of the goal or a missed goal, then play goes on as if nothing happened. That's basically what this one's saying. So we'll look at a few videos now. Anyone want to see it again? Okay, I'll play it one more time. All right, so there's obviously encroachment. Now the question is there a penalty for the encroachment? Do we have to retake the penalty or anything? Jessica, go ahead.
I think they have to retake the penalty.
Okay, why do you think that?
Well, the encroachment, that could have really, for the one doing the penalty kick, right there, I see where they're coming ahead, and it's
Okay,
also probably distracting the goalie as well. And encroachment is a foul, so it should be another penalty kick.
Okay, so the clarification in the law asks us to consider the impact. So you believe that these players impacted the penalty taker or the goalkeeper?
Oh, no, I do not.
Okay, so that's exactly what I want us to think about. Yeah. So is that clear now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no worries. So anyone have want to digest the call anymore, or should we move on to the next one? So there's in this case, encroachment has no impact, so play goes on. Okay, looking at another one.
It's all illegal. Pretty lightweight, but they're just like plastic.
Okay, so there's clearly encroachment there. Who believes this goal should not be allowed? Raise your hand if you think the goal should not be allowed. Okay, go ahead, Ali.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly do believe that the goal should not be allowed. I think there was plenty of players from both teams that, you know, got in there before the the kicker had kicked the ball. I from the look of it, obviously we can't assume what they're thinking and what they're gonna do, but the look on the goalie, on the goaltender, goalkeeper, its face, I believe that he was more worried about the replay of the ball than the actual kicker, due to the players quite of them moving forward before the kicker did. So yeah, I believe it should be retaken.
Okay. So you're saying that your concern is that the keeper might have been distracted because of what would happen after the penalty kick has been taken, right?
Correct, yes, because there was plenty of players that had moved inside the penalty area before the kick was taken.
Okay. So that now the question we have to ask is that where they are they directly impacting the goalie or the penalty taker? Because the situation you're talking about is already covered by the laws. Like if they encroached and they scored a goal or something after that, if they had an impact on the game, then that's taken care of. It's going to be, the goal is going to be taken back if they scored off a rebound. And similarly, it's going to be a retake if a defender who encroached clears the ball. So we have to consider just this scenario here, where the kicker is taking the ball and the keeper is waiting for the ball. So do you still, given that, do you still believe that these encroaches had an impact?
I do. I still stand with what I said. I think I don't think I believe that you know, the penalty should be retaken. I could be wrong. You know, definitely.
That's okay. It's a good discussion. So you still think it's because of what happens after the keeper? You think the keeper is thinking about what's going to happen after the kick is taken? Is that your reasoning?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That aspect, with the new changes, especially the law is pretty clear that the impact, if there is impact on the encroaching players after the fact, that's taken care of. So that should not be the goalkeeper's concern.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're good. Any other objections? Okay, Dan, go ahead.
Just another clarification. 99.99999% of the time, an encroachment has, if the person would have ran in yelling and screaming, then they're going to impact the kicker. Your encroachment, where you're looking at, did that person benefit from that encroachment on the rebound? Okay, that's what you're really looking for, because it's very extremely rare. Like they would have to enter the penalty area and be like almost ahead of the kicker in order for it to for FIFA to consider that there had an impact on it. Okay, so don't, and I understand, Ali, what you're saying. Don't cause problems where there isn't any. Don't look for bugs. Okay. In this case here, you're looking for encroachment to see if there's a save or a rebound. Are they going to benefit from it? But really, are they really going to impact the kicker? It's unless they're running in, screaming and yelling, not going to happen.
Thank you, Dan.
So go with that. Go with that frame of mind.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. So next video. Okay, I'll play that again. Hey, who wants to volunteer to make the call? Go ahead, Ian.
Well, it looks to me like the white defender encroached on play and then picked up the rebound from the goalkeeper. So it ought to be retaken.
Okay. Does anyone disagree with Ian's view? No, looks like
Again,
no
it
one
was
is. Mhm.
it was choppy for me, but if that was the call, wouldn't it be a goal kick, not a retake, if it was the attacking team that approached?
Okay, so let's look at the video again. Yeah, it is a bit choppy. Just to clarify. Is it clearer?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see why it's a retake, right?
So you're saying retake because the defender gained the advantage on getting to that rebound.
Exactly. Yeah. Makes sense? Okay, go to the next video. Just in case it's choppy and it's a short video, I'll play it one more time. Yeah, any volunteers to make the call?
I'd say no call here.
No call, okay. Well, meaning that the goal is allowed?
Correct.
What's your reasoning?
I think would have been encroachment the old way, but did not affect the play.
Okay, so there was encroachment, but no impact. Okay. Does anyone disagree with that? No disagreement, and that is the correct call. Thank you. I'll play it one more time. Okay, anyone volunteer to make the call? Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. No call. It did not affect the play.
So you're saying no call because it did not affect the play, but it was cleared, right?
Right. But not by the defender that encroached, so right?
All right. So you didn't see encroachment by the defender who cleared the ball.
Right.
Okay. Does anyone disagree with that? Nope. Yeah. So that's the correct call. That this player was not encroaching. Or number 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the last video. Oh, 1 second. We're playing the wrong video.
Yeah, this last one's.
Anyone want to see it again? Okay. Any volunteers to make the call? Go ahead, Ian.
I guess I might as well do. No goal, indirect free kick. Player encroached and then put the ball into net on the rebound.
Okay. Does anyone disagree with that?
So the restart is an indirect free kick from where the foul or the encroachment happened, or is it a goal kick?
So that's the next question that I have. Where do you think it should be?
I've given the goal kick before.
Okay.
I don't know if I was right.
So they want us to. I mean, the laws of the game requires it to be where the infringement occurred. So that would be at the top of the 18-yard.
In my early days, I think I almost didn't call it encroachment because I didn't know what the restart was going to be. But I'm older now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we live and learn, right? Yeah, so that's the correct call in this case, and that it's.
Just let it pop up the mic.
Sorry.
Hey everybody, I'm not gonna hijack this from Mo, he's doing a great job. We went over this one with Isaac and Dembele from the assessors. And same thing, so the question came up, what do we do in this case? Where's the retake from? We know it's an indirect free kick because the attacking team's the one who encroached and had an impact. So the question is it from where he touched the ball or where he came across the penalty area? So decision out of IFAB is when he encroached, he entered the penalty area. So take it back to there, give it to the defending team for an indirect free kick at the top of the penalty area. There is no cautions for teammates or people that encroach. It's just one of those ones, keep an eye. If you notice the same player every time you got a penalty kick is encroaching, have a word with them. give them a warning, and then you can caution them later for persistent infringement. But for the first time or two, just carry on with your restarts. Back to Mono.
All right. That brings us to the end of my show. Are there any questions about? So this just summarizes what's in the laws of the game and just repeats the same things we discussed. And that's it from my part. Are there any questions before we move to the soccer and B stuff?
Nothing in the chat. You need to stop sharing.
All right, so I'll stop sharing because Kevin is going to lead from here on.
Everybody need a 1 or 2 minute stretch break.
Yeah, how about we take a 3-minute break just to set up and so on?
Mo, the law hasn't changed for this year for the goalkeepers handling the ball for longer than 8 seconds.
No, it's not part of the changes that we're implementing.
It's not this year. Okay, that's in the future. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
1 second.
Kevin, for yours, Mo will man your chat room for you.
I'm working off my phone. Sec.
That's fine.
What'd you say, Kevin?
That sounds good with Mo running the chat room.
Yeah. You can admit whoever's trying to get in.
Yeah.
Then you get bounced out.
now.
No,
All right,
Robert's
we'll get
been-
started with the Soccer New Brunswick changes. Let me get it up here.
They'll be back right in a minute or two. They just went for quick water or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that's good. Where do you get it from?
Amazon. It's the new one's called the new
Yeah, Kevin, you can proceed.
What's that? Sorry, Mo?
You can proceed.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so we'll get started with the Soccer New Brunswick part of the refresher. Thank you, Mo, for the other part. So Soccer New Brunswick has started a committee. We've got Pratik at Soccer New Brunswick. He's doing the day-to-day communications between us and Soccer Canada. We have the referee development committee. We have people from each zone. So we have Angel from the west, Mo Fanny and Stefan Carrier in the north. In the east, we have Toussaint, and I believe Victor Obechi has joined, and Kelly Gibson, northwest, and Lawrence McGrath in the south for St. John. There'll be the committee with subcommittees will be responsible for development, including the dates for training, testing, assessing, and any issues that Pratik can't solve goes to the committee as well. Professionalism, availability, keep your availability current. These are all things to help your assigner. Check your emails often, especially when you register for upgrading. Respond to the assigners quickly. Keep them informed. Update your power up with cell phone and any changes. It just really, I mean, we do things different in Fredericton, but it really helps your assigner to accept the game if you accept or decline the game as quick as possible, so they can not have to try to scramble to find someone at the last minute. It's as an assigner, it's really not fun to try to do that, to have a game starting in a couple hours and you just got someone who you thought was going to do it, but they declined. With that, arriving on time for assignments. Punctuality and actually showing up. We do have issues where refs just don't show up at all, or they show up 2 minutes before the game and expect everything to go well, or show up late. We should be 30 minutes minimum for outdoor games, and that's minimum. And we're talking like NBSL, Div 1 games. If you're doing an NBPSL game, you should be 45 minutes to an hour before the game. Indoor, 20 minutes max before the indoor games, or minimum before the indoor games. Again, that's minimum. The earlier you get there and do your walk around, talk to the coaches, have everything ready, it just gives you lots of time and makes things a lot easier. Soccer New Brunswick is working on, with Soccer Canada, our own kind of code of ethics. With that being said, professionalism goes a long way to the other referees. Don't throw the other referees under the bus to fans, coaches, other players. Don't in the middle of a game when they ask you if you saw something, say, oh, well, you know, so-and-so in the middle wasn't in a good position, but I would have called that differently. Just keep that stuff to yourself. Talk to your referee. Talk to them at halftime. Talk to them after the game. If you think something's wrong, most of us are okay with talking about it and working on a solution. Handbook. Soccer New Brunswick is coming up with a handbook. It's in progress right now, being wrote, and it'll be mandatory. We all have to read it and kind of like accepting terms on something. You read it and sign off saying that you've read it. So that is coming. I know Rob's working on it now. Match reports. So as a referee, we act as the timekeeper. We keep a record. We provide the appropriate authorities with the match report, the game sheet, and including information on any disciplinary actions or any other incidents that occurred before, during, or after the match. know who's in the match before the match. So if there's 14 people on the game sheet, but there's 21 people behind the bench, there's people obviously that shouldn't be there. So make sure they're not there. Or if they're there, that they're on the game sheet and they have a legitimate reason to be on the game sheet. And all that has to do with being there early and talking to the coach and, getting your game sheet hopefully 15 minutes before the game so you can actually check and verify that. It's going back to if you show up to a couple minutes before the game, you can't do any of that. Technical area. So only the people on the game sheet can be in the technical area. The coaches don't need to sign the game sheet till after the match. I know there's been incidents in the past year where people have disputed a game or results of the game after the game, but the game sheet had a referee's signature on, or referee and the coach's signature. Well, the coach said, well, I signed it before the game. Well, we want them to sign it after the game. That's their confirmation that they're accepting the score that we put down there. So it's just easier to do that way than try to go through it after the fact. It's not fun. I've been through it this year in indoor leagues. Not only that, but make sure you check it carefully before you submit it to the league. Not just the score, but yellow cards, red cards, any notes you need to put on it. Make sure you enter everything in Power Up. Just sending a photo to the league or Soccer New Brunswick doesn't close out the game. Reminder that in Power Up as well, we need the game, the score, we need the yellow cards. It is possible to attach your game sheet in Power Up. I do it for every game just so that it's there. The match reports, obviously, they're vital for league statistics, sanctions, and Soccer New Brunswick insurance purposes, just to, if an incident happens, it's something for them to go back to later on and see everybody that's on there, get the facts, go to everybody. It's just easier in the long run. Whoa. I went back too quick. Just 1 second. So send off special incident reports. When a team or a staff member is dismissed straight red, it has to be filed in a report with Soccer New Brunswick. 2 yellows, they do not need to be. You do not need to do a send-off report just if it's a straight red. Now, mind you, if you give out a yellow and then your second card is a straight red for violent conduct or abuse of official, something else, you still have to fill that form out because you're giving a straight red, even though you gave the yellow out beforehand. And a separate report for each person that's being dismissed. Forms on the Soccer New Brunswick website. So right now they only have the one that you see, the referee dismissal form for a player. They don't have on there right now, but they are working on a team official send-off report and a supplemental report. If you give a red card, the player leaves the field and they come back on the field, something else happens, that's a whole separate report. Some musts. So you've got to have the name of the player, team official. Have to have the time of the incident. So it's important to, when you're keeping your notes on your card, that you have the time of the incident and an accurate account of what happened. Use your laws of the game for your reference, or it's going to come back to you. Or if we don't have the proper laws of the game and why, there is a good chance that your send-off report will be dismissed and nothing will happen if we don't get everything right. We need to make sure that there's a signature on there from you, the name of the referee. And like I said, Soccer New Brunswick is working on the other 2 reports. Hopefully they will be up there before the league, or before the leagues actually start. If you need to give a supplemental report or a team official send-off report, you could reach out to Pratik for now until that's up. Quizzes, we are working, I say we, Soccer New Brunswick is working on a weekly quiz right now. That'll be coming, I'm hoping out within the next month. We had planned to do it for April 1st, just with all of the training, instructor, assessor training and tryouts. We just haven't got to that point yet. So some law changes and areas of focus from Canada Soccer that we've seen just in nationals around here in the last couple of years. Really want to make sure that there is a game plan before you start and get there. Identify where the warm-up area is, if it's the end of the field and no balls are to be used. Know the competition rules, enforce them. They also noted with added time, 1 goal, add 30 seconds. Each substitution, add 30 seconds. Time for injuries, celebrations. We used to round up with added time. Now they're recommending to round down instead. Warm-ups, be visible. Do your warm-up before the game. Do it together. Make it look good. Make it look professional, like we know what we're doing. Work hard and focused. Money in the bank for us. Another thing they noticed was advantage. Patience on seeing if, especially in offside, seeing if, the player that's in an offside position suddenly stops and somebody else keeps going, or somebody else gets the ball and goes through and score, and we have the flag up. It's not fun to have to go to your linesman and come out and you have people complaining. Same with advantage. Take your time. There's nothing worse than blowing your whistle too quick on a foul and the guy takes 2 steps and scores. So just take your time. Talk about that with your team in your pregame. Just tell them, take your time. Some people will say, 3 to 4 touches or 2 passes before you decide on advantage. Just take your time. Use your patience. Net check. So they're recommending we don't have to go around the outside of the net, just the inside of the net. Start on the left inside, go across, finish on the right, go to the side of your net, turn and wait. When you see the other referee do the same, you guys run around the sideline, around the corner flag, to the line, to the second last defender, and then you unfurl your flag, and that's obviously the referee's signal that you're good to go. Signals. They want us to be sharper with our signals. Floating loose whistle in your hand, especially not attached to your fingers. Directional with a throw-in just above your shoulder, blade down. Fouls. Don't do the airplane with two hands, just one hand in the direction that it's going. Throw in one part. Goal kick, just below the shoulder, blade down. Penalty kick, down at the ground but 45 degrees. AR signals. So when you're doing substitution, flag handle needs to be in the right hand. Yeah, hold on. So We have a couple of videos on positioning from the last couple nationals. So whether you're an experienced referee, new referee, we all kind of have those oh crap moments when we find we're out of position for the current play. It can be from inexperience, not being alert to the change of play. It could be as simple as being out of shape or a combination of all three. These are all things we can work on. The video clips that we're going to review are just an example of how even regional, provincial, national referees get caught out of position, and we'll discuss how they can plan to be in position in their next match, or we may see a video of near perfect positioning. Let's take a look and just watch the video and see what we would suggest to the referee ourselves on how to be in the right position. So I'm going to play the first one. So watch it starting now. Does anybody need to see that again?
You're good, Kev.
Okay. Can anybody point out some things that they see in that video that they noticed or would do differently?
For me, Kevin, right off the bat, there was some high pressure onto the back line. And the referee stayed quite far away and it wasn't very dynamic to get there and be a little bit closer because that pressure was quite high. So what I would do differently is I would make my presence, quite a bit closer than that with that high pressure on the back line.
Definitely. Anybody else?
At kickoff, I usually go in front of the play. So assuming that the kicking off team is going to play the ball back first, I'd be ahead of the ball to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Be ahead of the ball and anticipating the ball's going that way. Can anyone tell me even like there's another thing from right off the bat that went? Anybody notice her watch? It took her 10 seconds to start her watch after the game started. Nothing really happened, which is good, but she spent the first 10 seconds sitting there playing with her watch. It's recommended that we start the watch before we even blow the whistle so we don't have that issue. the other things they kind of noted was obviously, like Joe said, focus is important from the first moment of the game, getting in the right spot. Watch start before kickoff to allow the referee to be aware of pressure. Anticipation when the defender has a clear possession to move ahead of the play. Awareness on free kicks to control the restart and move to the next phase instead of, you notice when those free kicks happened, it was great. She made the call. She was right there, but then they kicked the ball in and she was way out of position again. So anticipating those where the ball's going to go means less of being explosive and having to try to catch up to the play. And the other thing they noted was just more explosive speed needed on transition through the middle third is what they pointed out in that one. We'll move on to the next one. I'll play it here. Okay. Did anybody notice anything they'd like to bring up on that one as well?
If no one's gonna chat, I'll go again. Near the end of that video, Kevin, I noticed that she started to anticipate that transition a lot better. And tried to get ahead of it. Whereas at the beginning, like it's tough in the video because you can't see where she is. Like she might be explosive, but just it's been zoomed in. But on that last one, for sure, anticipating that transition and looking to anticipate where that ball's going rather than ball watching, which is great.
Yep, no, exactly. That was exactly one of the points. She was better towards the end. Restarts, that one kind of highlights, again, same as a free kick, throw-ins. Instead of when they take the throw in, just standing, watching the throw, anticipate. It's pretty easy to tell if they're going to go forward, backward, get into an optimal position for the next phase. Good scanning to see options, get ahead of the play. But like Joe said, it got better towards the end, and that's just basically all we were looking for on that one. So thank you, Joe. On to... Oh, we're showing video again. Just a second.
So the reason we're introducing these videos this year, as Kevin said, these are all senior referees. There's good points in the videos too, but it's things that we all do. So if you look at it and go, yeah, I do that. I've done that before. It's just an educational one for us to say, what did you do? And as Joe brought up the great example on that one, 62 minutes of the game, she wasn't being preemptive in the last video. And all of a sudden that during that video clip, she started to, okay, I need to be a little bit more explosive, get ahead of the play. So what they found is the whole very first part of the game, was little bits like that. And then all of a sudden it was the click in. So some of us click in the first minute, some the 40th minute, some towards the end of the game. So we just need to keep our mind in the game right off the bat. I see Dan's hands up.
I just want to add the number one thing that I see new referees or older referees when they're on the field and they don't know where to go. The number one thing you can do is scan the field at every occasion that you got. Scan and don't become a spectator, which means just looking at the ball, watching the play like if you're in the stand. You always got to be thinking, where's this ball going to go? Where can this ball go? There's a challenge. Okay, I need to get the right angle. You do not become a spectator and scan the field every chance you get to anticipate where it's going to go. When you find yourself trailing and then you get caught is because you just turn into a spectator and you're no longer analyzing the play, you're just watching the play.
Go ahead, Jessica. I see your hands up as well.
Yes, hello. Last soccer season was my first season reffing. I had a hard time, like, at the end of the season, it was okay, but at first I was having a hard time trying to figure out where I should position myself. And I found at the end it was okay, but I was like always either in the way of the ball when it was in play, or like sometimes I would be like hit with the ball, so then you'd have to do drop ball. And yeah, I just like hopefully this season I'll remember. It will all come back to me.
Yeah, that comes with experience, especially if it's your first year. Dan, go. You can take the lead on that one, Dan. So you see a lot more than I do.
Yeah. So to help you out in that, Jessica, is that the misconception that a lot of new referees have is that they feel that they have to be close all the time. Angle is better than proximity. You want to get the good angle to see the space between the players and not necessarily be so close, because then you can't see if you're in the way of players. You can't see where the transition is going to happen. You can't see anything that's happened. You have players behind you. So always get the angle on the play and don't be so focused on, I need to get really close. I need to get really close, because you want to be able to have a more wider angle to say, okay, where's that ball? Where can that ball go? You know what I mean? And where's the next transition going to happen? So you need to don't be so focused on, a lot of new referees get so focused on, I need to be there. I need to be right there. Like, 5 feet away or 10 feet away. Like, and that's when you find yourself getting caught. Just make sure you have a nice wide view. You have the angle of the play that you can see. And it's important that you do want proximity, because one thing that I had told referees before is when I see them stop running and they're like 30, 40 yards away, is it, why did you stop running? And is it because you have a good view of the ball? And they always say yes. And my next comment to them is, have you ever seen the ball commit a foul? No. So it doesn't matter if you can see the ball. Can you see the space between the players? Can you see where their hands are? So then change your angle so that you get a better view of that space. So that's the important thing. So just always think angle over proximity. And another tidbit that you can have a little bit, it doesn't always apply, but always try to have the play on the right side of you. So then you're running more in an angle, because if you get into a habit of having to play on your left side, and then you start refereeing with ARs, you can't look at the play on the left side of you and look at your AR that's always going to be on the right side of you. You can't look at both at the same time. So I hope that helps a bit.
Perfect. Thank you, Dan.
That did. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, we will move on to the next slide. Just events. So we've got NBPSL, NBSL, different other local leagues. There's SWSL in Fredericton, Woodstock area. There's ESL. Local tournaments. There will be an Atlantics, Friendship Cup in Fredericton, Kodiak, provincials. In the fall, there'll be high school, AUS, ACAA, futsal. There's planning on us having an actual indoor futsal league between the clubs next year. So there'll definitely be some more futsal entry-level courses and training. Rob will handle most of that. So this year we did 3. Yeah, go ahead, Jessica.
Quick question before I forget. Where can we order more referee badges?
Soccer New Brunswick sells them for $5, I believe. Pratic is who you would want to email about that.
Okay, thank you, because I think I misplaced mine.
Yeah, no, that's fair. They should have some. I know ran out of them at the end of last year, but I'm pretty sure they're stocked up again because we were giving them out at entry-level courses last weekend. So, yeah, email Pratic and he'll be able to help you out. So this year we did 3 video sessions, videos, laws of the games, knowledge training, 2 sets of quizzes that went out to those doing upgrading. We had 19 people apply for the regional, 3 applied for the provincial upgrade. Average of 12 people attended each of the sessions for those. 19 people completed the quizzes. 10 wrote the regional upgrade, 4 wrote the provincial. So 3 people passed the regional upgrade, 1 passed provincial. There is an upgrade training coming in Fredericton in a few weeks. So this is just showing Laura McNicholas out of St. John passed the provincial upgrade, the test part. UTN in Fredericton, Nathan White, Aurelian, and for Canada Games, we had 4 referees, all out of the South area. So Ryan Rogers, Abby Scott, Laura, Sam Myers. And when this picture was taken, we didn't know at the time yet, but Dan Blanchette passed his upgrade test as a regional assessor. So congratulations to him and everybody else that passed their upgrade at this point. We had 12 current / new instructors attend training in Moncton the 8th and 9th of February. Obviously right now we're in the middle of doing Laws of the Game refresher. Right now they started back March 30th. There's 15 current / new assessors that attended training. April 12th and 13th, district and regional level assessors. Priority for assessing will be obviously for those people that are trying to upgrade to regional and provincial, but we would obviously like to try to assess other people as well, but they will definitely get the priority. That is pretty much all I have on the provincial side of things. Does anybody have any questions?
Kevin, I'll give one clarification there. Dan passed as provincial assessor.
Yeah, sorry. He's regional to provincial. Sorry, Dan. Love you.
It's all good.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, sorry. This is a question I was going to raise on the other part of this session, but I thought it might have been covered in the Soccer New Brunswick piece. Just out of interest, is there any update to taping jewelry or anything like that this season?
Yeah, taping jewelry. There is no taping of jewelry. That's
okay.
Not allowed. They can tape the hole, but they're not allowed to tape jewelry. I'm sure we're going to get a million people say, I just got this piercing yesterday and I can't take it out. Well, good for you. You can't play then. I'm sorry.
Yep.
But no jewelry whatsoever, including they had clarification, no elastic bands either. Around the wrist, sorry. I should have
Yeah,
clarified
no,
that.
that's good. All right, excellent, thank you.
Anything else from anybody? Yeah, go ahead, Jessica.
I do notice there's this new thing they have. It's permanent jewelry. A lot of the teenage girls are getting it.
I don't even know what that is, so I can't answer you on that. What is permanent jewelry? What's
So what it is, it's pretty much it's like a bracelet or a necklace, and it's like clasped on you, like
Yeah.
you can't take it off. So
Well, then if they can't take it off, they can't play.
okay,
It's
just yeah, okay.
obviously if you're doing a U8 house league game, that's different.
Yeah.
But if we're doing a Div 1 or a competitive game of any sort, absolutely not.
Okay, thanks.
With just following on from Jessica there, with something like that in mind, which is likely to crop up at some point during the season, particularly at the, let's say, the earlier stages of competitive.
Yeah.
Would something like that be worth shooting a note out to the teams at the beginning of the season, saying just a reminder? This should be this is not allowed.
I mean, we can. I mean, technically, it wasn't allowed last year either for any of it. It just they're pushing it more and more. But yes, we absolutely. I can ask Practic to send something to the coaches. You're still going to get those issues. They're still going to come up and say, "I didn't know."
Yeah.
It's not us being rude.
At least then you can say, "Well, your club knew."
Yeah. Yeah.
They're getting everything, Ian. So tonight's recording of these two presentations and the French one from last week is Pratik is sending them out to all the clubs and all the teams.
The shin pad one too would probably be a big one to remind people.
Yep. Yeah. Like I say, the sessions tonight are recorded, and these recordings are going out to the clubs for them to be able to review with their players and coaches.
Maybe a Cole's Notes version though. 2-hour video. I'm not sure everybody's going to grasp all the finer points, but yes.
Anything else before we go?
Thanks, Kev. So for Mo and Kevin, most of you guys online, Mo and Kevin, you wouldn't have seen doing refreshers or entry level the last couple of years. As we did the instructor course a couple of months ago, all the presentations around the province are mostly being given by either ones that you haven't seen before, and in some cases it's our new instructors as well. So some changes across the province. Same thing with the assessors. You're going to see new assessors out in the bleachers this summer. Thanks, everyone. And no